They thought they had the perfect plan, an unbreakable scheme to cash in on $1 million life insurance policy. A devoted wife, a so-called best friend, and a man who never saw the betrayal coming. It was supposed to be easy. A tragic accident, a hefty payout, and a new life far away. But the moment they thought they had won, reality hit them like a storm they never expected. What they didn't know was that the truth has a way of surfacing, no matter how carefully it's buried. A single mistake, an overlooked detail, and suddenly, that airtight plan started to crack. As investigators dug deeper, secrets unraveled, and what they discovered left even the masterminds behind this plot completely shocked. How did everything go so wrong? And what exactly was uncovered that turned their perfect crime into a nightmare? Stick around, because this story is just getting started. It all started with temptation, money, greed, and a dangerous bond between two people who should have never crossed the line. Mark had always trusted his wife, Emily, and his best friend, Jake. To him, they were family. He never saw the stolen glances, the whispered conversations, or the way they planned a future that didn't include him. Emily and Jake believed they had thought of everything. They knew Mark's routine, his habits, even his weaknesses. The life insurance policy had been set up months earlier, and all they had to do was wait for the perfect moment. One clean move, and they'd walk away rich and free. But the moment things were set in motion, something felt off. The police asked too many questions. A witness came forward with a detail they hadn't considered. And then, a shocking discovery turned their carefully built plan into a ticking time bomb. Emily and Jake thought they had covered their tracks. They stuck to their alibi, rehearsed their statements, and acted devastated when the news broke. Mark's death was ruled an accident at first, just an unfortunate tragedy. But something didn't sit right with the detectives. The way Emily spoke about her husband, detached, rehearsed. The way Jake lingered too close, his concern just a little too forced. It was subtle, but to a trained eye, it was enough to raise suspicion. Then came the first crack in their story. A neighbor mentioned seeing a car parked near Mark's usual jogging trail, one that matched Jake's. The insurance company took notice too. $1 million payout wasn't something they handed over without questions. As they combed through records, an alarming detail surfaced. Emily had increased the policy just months before, and then something even more chilling came to light, something neither of them saw coming. Emily and Jake felt the walls closing in, but they told themselves it was just paranoia. No one had real proof, just suspicions. As long as they stuck to their story, they would be fine. But then the police called Emily in for questioning again. This time, the detective wasn't just asking routine questions. He was pressing, poking at the weak spots in her story. Why had she taken out such a large insurance policy? Why had she called Jake just minutes before reporting Mark missing? Her hands trembled as she answered, but she forced herself to stay calm. Meanwhile, Jake was unraveling. He started drinking more, staying up late, jumping at every unexpected knock on the door. He told himself they were safe, but then came the phone call that made his blood run cold. A forensic report had come back, one that exposed something they had completely overlooked. And once the police had that information, everything would change. Jake's hands shook as he hung up the phone. He hadn't told Emily yet, but he knew he had to. The forensic report revealed something neither of them had considered, a trace of an unknown substance in Mark's system, one that couldn't have been there by accident. The police weren't just suspicious anymore, they had real evidence. It was only a matter of time before they put the pieces together. Emily panicked when she heard the news. She thought they had been careful, but now doubt crept in. Had Jake made a mistake? Had she? The pressure was too much, and for the first time, they turned on each other. Accusations flew, voices rose, and in that moment, something even worse happened. An email arrived from an unknown sender. It contained a single message. ****I know what you did. ****, someone had been watching. Someone knew the truth. And now they weren't just running from the police, they were running out of time. Emily stared at the email, her breath shallow. Jake grabbed the laptop, scanning the screen as panic set in. Who could have known? They had been so careful. Then, another message popped up. Asterisk, asterisk, meet me tonight. Or the cops get everything. Asterisk, asterisk, a location followed. An abandoned parking lot on the outskirts of town. They had no choice. That night, they arrived separately, scanning the darkness for whoever had sent the message. Then, a shadow stepped forward. Emily gasped. It was someone she never expected. Mark's younger brother, Daniel. His expression was cold, calculated. I knew something was off the moment Mark died, Daniel said. So I started digging. And now I have everything I need. He pulled out his phone. Confessions, bank records, emails. You two really thought no one would notice. Jake lunged at him, but flashing red and blue lights filled the lot. Police swarmed in. It was over. As Emily was handcuffed, she locked eyes with Jake. You said it was foolproof, she whispered, but the biggest shock came when the detective spoke. We never found Mark's body, he said, because we just got a call. He's alive. Emily felt the world tilt beneath her. Mark was alive? That wasn't possible. She had seen the news, heard the reports. But the detective's face told her everything. This wasn't a trick. Somewhere, somehow, Mark had survived. As the police led her and Jake away, the truth unraveled. Mark had sensed something was wrong in the weeks before his accident. He didn't trust Emily, and he especially didn't trust Jake. So he made a choice. He faked his own death before they could get to him. With the help of his brother, Daniel, he disappeared, waiting for them to make their move. And they did. Now, the $1 million scheme had collapsed, and the betrayers were the ones trapped. Emily and Jake weren't walking away with a fortune. They were walking into prison. Mark had lost everything, but in the end, he had won the one thing that mattered most: justice.